everyone, it's Becky here. So today in this video, I'm going to give you a sketchbook tour of my sketchbook from 2020. So I started this sketchbook in February before the start of the pandemic, and I finished it in May. So it took me 2.5 months to finish filling it up. Hey, so here it is. So this is the Moleskine Watercolor Album, A4 size in portrait format, pretty big size. So for the first page, I did a self-portrait wearing my winter hat and sweater. I was living in Montreal during that time in February 2020, last year. And these were done during my busy days when I was studying for my master's. Before the pandemic, I was still able to hang out with friends and chat, enjoy life. And I was able to go out to cafes, having lunch and have a cup of coffee and do sketches. So this is one of the cafes in Montreal, in the neighborhood of Saint Henry. I was having lunch there. And here's the corner of my kitchen. So I really like randomly combine different elements in my art journal page. And I always like sketching my lunch, dinner, coffee, and tea and snacks. This one was done in another cafe, the view outside the cafe window on a cold winter day. And this one, when I was having breakfast with my friend around the university, and the view outside the window. Those old brick buildings in downtown Montreal in Quebec. And another day, I was having a pizza lunch with chai tea latte in Saint Henry in Montreal. I really miss those days that we were able to go out and go anywhere we want without wearing masks, without worry about keeping social distance with others. I think this is one of the last classes before university shut down due to the pandemic. I sketched my classmates and the evening view outside the classroom window. And this one was in a restaurant with my friend having tea and lunch. Sketching my winter boots, food, and snacks. The view outside my window in downtown Montreal. And then I moved to a new apartment on March the 17th, 2020, 16th, 17th. It's a really busy day and trying to stay calm and keep sketching in my art journal. And I think these are the last few days in Montreal before I came back to Vancouver to my family. Saturday, March the 21st, a few days before I left Montreal, back to Vancouver. Food and drinks. And I always love sketching evening skies outside the windows. Some more food and drinks and the sunset view. Monday, March the 23rd and 24th. It was kind of snowing in Montreal in late March. I was making my own mask with these baby wipes with sewing yarns inside. And here's the day that I flew back to Vancouver. And before I take my ride on the airplane, I sketched the view outside the airport window. The next day at home in Vancouver, I had some tea and snacks. Spring was coming in Vancouver, and I sketched the view that I really missed over the past few months since I was away in Montreal. And here I was reading and listening to the news by the Prime Minister talking about the pandemic. And I sketched the view outside my kitchen window, including the blinds. I think it's really interesting to see through the blinds. The trees were almost ready to bloom. April the 3rd, 2020. Evening skies and just an ordinary view in my kitchen. Fruits, veggies, Zoom meeting with people, and the cherry blossoms blooming outside my window. Very loose sketches of window views, cherry blossoms. And it was almost Easter. A really quick 15-minute sketch while I was on a car ride. Another quick 15-minute sketch while sitting inside the car and waiting. Some more little sketches around the city while waiting for my family. More Zoom meetings with people. Food and drinks. April the 20th, 2020. I sketched the blooming rhododendron flowers in my backyard. And a really dramatic evening sky outside. More food and drinks on the bottom. Going to Deer Lake in Burnaby. More food stuff. Sketching the crescent moon outside the window. Some more sketches at home. Very loose sketches of the window views outside my living room window. Okay. More of my meals. Here at the end, I kind of being playful with some water-soluble markers here. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so I know many of you are probably wondering what materials I use to do my art journal. So these are the minimalistic tools that I use for my art journals. I don't use a huge amount of stuff to create in my art journals. I like to keep it simple because in this way I don't get so distracted by using way too many materials, thinking about what to use. I like to keep things simple. So first of all, before I paint, I like to use 1 or 2 fine liner pens to do the outlines. Usually I like to use 0.5, 0.8 tip fine liner pens, and these are waterproof. So when I paint watercolors on top, the lines won't fade away, okay? And then I would add watercolors on top of my line works. Last year I was using a Mungyo watercolor palette. This one is very small, portable, palm-sized watercolor palette. It has 12 colors in it. I use very minimal colors too, because I can mix my own here and reuse them. Okay, so when I paint, I use 2 or 3 water brushes of different tip sizes. This one has a very large tip, medium tip, and smaller tip. So for this one, I like to paint larger areas like sky and water. This one for like most of other stuff, just medium tip. And smaller tip, I use it to draw for fine line details, very small details. And this one is the Holbein brand water brush. This one is a Deserres, the name of my local art supply store. This one is a Sakura. Yeah, I think this is a Sakura brand water brush. And 2 pens. I'm currently using etcher pens sent to me because I had to do some workshops for etcher. I got some free samples of art materials. Okay. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please click like and leave me a comment below. If you have any questions or concerns, just feel free to leave me a question below. So right now I'm finishing my thesis paper for my master's studies. So my first draft is due in about 2 weeks. So I'm spending so many hours every day typing, reading and typing and thinking. Wow, yeah. So getting really tired, but I'm really happy to write something that I'm really passionate about. So my thesis paper is about the practice of art journaling. So I did a research workshop with 3 of my academic colleagues. So we spent 6 weeks doing 6 workshops on different topics of art journaling, and we created over 30 pieces of art journal entries. And for this research, I'm collecting all of those pieces of art and our conversations in the workshop sessions on Zoom, and I'm analyzing all of those information and finding meanings through our dialogues and creations. And it's a pretty long process. It takes a lot of patience and time and a lot of brain power. The thesis paper is about 100 to 120 pages. I think I'll reach the maximum. So you can subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. So I'm sketching every day in my art journal, and I'm always filming my sketching process. And I really like sharing my process with you here on YouTube and on Instagram. You can also follow my Instagram. And I will see you next time.